What's up, Broncos? This is Aaron from the Poly Post with this week's episode of Reporter on the Street. Today we're going to be talking to students about their best and worst experiences with a professor. Let's get into it.
I would have to say my worst was a professor who always kind of made fun of me every time I would answer to him and always made me kind of sad.
I'd say the best experience I had with the professor was definitely in physics. Already a hard class, but this professor was just really great. On the first day we did an experiment, which is pretty cool. I just felt very welcoming in that class, and the whole semester I had no issues with him. Professor Nathan Tung, by the way.
Worst experience, I'll go with worst first. It had to be a professor that was like, I locked the door, and if you need to go to the bathroom, just count yourself absent for the day. That was the worst. And for best, I've had a lot of good experiences. I'd have to say when one of my professors had a end of the year potluck. That was really nice.
Worst experience with the professor, we're gonna name him unnamed, obviously. I just felt like they kind of rushed the course, as a whole. I feel like they didn't really care to actually explain things through. And obviously as a civil engineer, these classes are gonna shape us for the future. And so if you're not taking the time to actually sit with the kid and worried about other things and not actually teaching your class, that's pretty bad. But one of my best experiences with a professor, Ivan Ventura, calc teacher. That's just one of them. Obviously there's been a few, but he took the time, where I'm a commuter, and he took the time to meet on Zoom every other chance we could get, and actually took the time to sit and educate me, because at the end of the day we pay for this. And so I was appreciative of that. Even though I'm commuting out far, we could hop on a Zoom, or I can meet him in his office hours. So that was a pretty good experience.
All right.
So I would say my best right now, I have a professor. I won't say his name because he's an amazing professor. It's Dr. Collins. He is very, very enthusiastic to help us learn about everything that we are learning about, modernism, postmodernism, and literature, power, and politics. He's an amazing professor, and he really does care about his students. So that's been my best experience so far. Yeah.
All right. And how about your worst?
I would say my worst, I used to be an engineering major. So one of my worst professors was, I won't say the name, but it was a physics professor. So the curve for the class is really, really bad. And I thought I was the only one failing, to be honest. But then at the end, everyone was like, okay, be honest, say what your grade is. And everyone had 40s to 50s. And I went to his, what was it called? The office hours once, to show that I cared about my grades. And he completely marked one of my questions wrong, even though it was right. And he was like, oops, this was an accident. And it was a 5-question test. So it's pretty easy to fail. So yeah, that was probably my worst by far.
All right. Thank you very much. There you have it, Broncos. That's it for this episode of Reporter on the Street. Enjoy the rest of your week and be safe.